Hey there guys, welcome to Week in Review number 3. So this was quite a big week. We got a pretty significant number of cards. Not all of them are on Body Spoiler. We're going to be hopping over to Freedom Duo because they just got translated. But yeah, this was this was a bit of a mad one. There's a few really powerful cards that look to be pretty meta changing. So let's get into it. So we'll start off with this GeGeGe no Kitaro card. This was the card of the day. This is a core cost, pay 2 gauge, top deck soul. If another Western yokai is on your field, reduce size of it by 1. And when this card attacks and destroys a character on your opponent's field, or deals damage to your opponent, destroy up to 1 card on your opponent's field and deal 2 damage to your opponent. With penetrate, double attack, and soul guard. This is perfectly okay. Very easy to stop. Just nullify the attack to destroy something. It's yeah. I mean, it's not anything special, but obviously the synergies with the deck may make it a bit better. That remains to be seen. Then we got a bunch of promos. They're coming from various different sources. Some are like special tournament prizes. Some are different tournament prizes. We'll just get into them, and you'll see that they are all pretty good. Battle Rage, you may only cast a card for Dragon on your field, attack 3 or more times. Counter, look at the top 4 cards of your deck and put up to 2 cards from among them into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order and gain 2 life. It's pretty fucking good. The fact that it's a promo is really shit, because it means that, I mean, this seems like an insanely good card. Like, you definitely want to run this. This is like strictly better than Bad Sex Link or any of the other cards that you might have been running before. Like, I feel like you would run this. Because checking the top 4 for any 2 it's pretty crazy. Magma Horus and Freezer Horus SD. Dragon, when the card is dropped from your hand, you may put a size 1 Dragon from yours into your hand, and when it attacks, if you body call during this fight, for this turn, this card gets triple attack once per turn. I don't know that this would really be run. I don't like. Maybe it would be run for the salvage effect, but I'm doubtful. We'll save this one because this is a fucking ridiculous promo. We'll do the Gridman one. So this is our first Gridman card. Set souls in all cards on your field cannot be dropped by opponent's card effects. If you know Gridman, that seems like something that would be happening. All cards on your opponent's field cannot attack characters on your left and right, so they have to go face. And counteract, you may drop a hand card. If you do, for this turn, the next time you take is reduced to 0. Really nice effect to have there. You can set more than one, which is pretty nice. But yeah, this reduced to 0 is going to come in handy against like various decks, like DDs with 10 damage impact, or Demon Dragons with 6 damage impact, things like that. This is going to come in handy, yeah. The GeGeGe no Kitaro set is looks pretty important. All characters with yokai in their attributes in the field cannot be destroyed by opponent's card effects, which is, I mean, I feel like this is going to be the protection set, which really sucks for GeGeGe no Kitaro players. Counteract, during your turn, choose a size 1 or less yokai in your drop zone. You may pay 1 life. If you do, call the chosen card to an open area by paying the core cost once per turn. This is a really nice ability. Just being able to toolbox out anything for 1 life and the core cost is pretty fucking good. And now, rip Idolmaster, it is dead. You can use this card in all flags. Once the card is dropped from your hand by your opponent's card effect, draw 2 cards. Then for this turn, your hand cards cannot be dropped by your opponent's card effects. Oh my god. And then counter gain 3 life or reduce script by 2, but holy shit. I mean, for those of you who are unaware, Idolmaster is fucking degenerate. And then we'll just sit there and, like, turn 1, drop your hand to, like, 3. But now, with this card in existence, and it's just a generically good, like, I wouldn't feel bad about 3 of them, or even, frankly, with how threatening IMAT is, until like, people just stop playing it, I wouldn't feel bad about 4 of them, this, because, like, it's not like the other effects are bad. I mean, it's not an ideal card, but instantly outing IMAT at this, I mean, Recover Veil is dumb. I don't know that you'd ever really run Recover Veil after this now, with access to this, which is, yeah. This is basically just a silver bullet for Idolmaster, and also enough for the other Conan deck, which means that Bushiroad have now hit both Conan decks. Fucking annoying, but anyway, this exists. This is possibly the least format changing major card we got for context of how crazy the. No, this is pretty important. I think I've written there. All right, then we got this monster. This is related to scroll. This one. This is one of the core cost cards. When this card enters the field, draw 5 cards on top of your deck. If you do put any number of Nana Sheaf and run them into your hand, and counteract if this card in the style of Born of Darkness Nana Sheaf Humu, you may pay 1 gauge if you do this turn. That card will be destroyed now by destruction once per turn. So yeah, I mean that's just synergizing with this. I will say that the cost, now that we know Mana and Nanashi, seem pretty easy to do. We'll come on to Mana shortly. Curse Pool, cast cost, put 5 characters from the drop zone on the bottom of your deck in any order. This is pretty fucking nice. Counter, draw a card, and then choose and use one of the following 3. Either choose up 3 cards in opponent's field, and they get -10, -3, that's really good. Pop 3, that's really good. Or for this turn, you cannot be outdamaged by your opponent's card effects. It's also really good. This one especially is gonna come in fucking clutch against a lot of the meta. So yeah, this GeGeGe no Kitaro's getting some good stuff. I'll say that much at least. Now here's the big dump from the stream, as well as the card of the day. So the card of the day is Yokai Hunter Rei Isurugi. Core cost 2 gauge, and then 2 cards for drop zone into Soul, and that is important because when it attacks and destroys a character in opponent's field, you can put a character drop zone into Soul. Counteract. Choose up to 2 size 2 or lower characters with a yokai in its attribute from this card's Soul. For this turn, this card gains all abilities written on the chosen cards once per turn. This is fucking insane. So obviously both players' turns you can do this, which makes his toolbox potential pretty crazy. He's a fucking size 1, by the way, so it's not like he's locking you out of using some of the other stuff. If you look at what the size 2s do, you're getting access here to dropping stuff. You're getting access to some pretty powerful abilities. It gains all abilities, so like, this is a good card. This is a really good card. We got the new Gaga, but we'll leave that for later on because we got the whole super pack, and we'll come to that in a little bit. Alright, so then we got Messiah Arms cards, and Messiah Arms is looking like quite a confusing deck because basically these 3 cards just form another package of 3, exactly like the other one, except this one's a 3/5 with double attack, and instead of resting when things enter the field, it has that occulted run of skill of just nullifying attacks from dragons. So I'm not really sure what to think about Messiah Arms, because I'm excited for them, but one would expect that they'd synergize a little better than they are. We still have a lot of support cards to go for them, so I'm going to hold off being like, oh, this deck fucking sucks, because it clearly doesn't. It just seems a little confused at the moment. I'm looking forward to seeing the set list, so we can actually sort of, know how good the deck is. And the set list, well, it's set out October 5th in Japan, so the set list is in about 2 weeks for us, just over 2 weeks. So not too long to go. So that's what those do. Then we got the first Gridman card. Cannot be called. Blank attack, draw a card. Double attack, transformed. On top of a primal acceptor. This is clearly like a blank slate card that's going to be gaining a bunch of abilities. Alright. Now, let's save these for later. Let's do the GeGeGe cards because this. Oh no, let's do it now. Right. Okay. So this is a card that literally goes fuck you, no searching. Now, I will reserve the doom and gloom because, again, testing could show that this is not as good as I'm thinking it is. However, to me, this really does seem like a kind of obstruct light because realistically, you're not going to be opening it turn 1 like in your opening hand. Just statistically, most of the time, you're not going to do it, no matter how many you run. So you're in the situation where the player who goes first is going to be able to do all their things, probably get 1 or 2 of these in hand. And then depending on the matchup, 2 of these certainly, like, for example, against Prism Dragons, I really do feel like this kind of just fucks the deck on like a new level. There are a lot of decks that really heavily rely on searching as their main, they don't draw a shit ton, which just lets them, sort of like take an ability like that. Like, for example, Prisms, like a majority of their consistency stuff really is searching, searching for defense things, searching for their size 3s. So when you just go, fuck you, check the top 4, that's not good. Now, obviously, they might hit the card they was going to search anyway, in which case you took a bit of an L there. But this is a free card. You just lose the card from your hand. Like, it's not like you're paying any other resources other than that. And, it's not like, modern Buddyfight, you have the hand size to just do that. It's not a big deal. So, I mean, I'm not going to say this is really bad just yet, but I am a little bit worried. As well, this is a promo, so, I mean, this is going to be fucking expensive. I really hope this is a shop tournament promo, because at least that's accessible. If it's a box shopper promo, God fucking help everyone, because every competitive player is going to need 4 of it. This is a set 6 special tournament kind of promo for Japan, so I am really, really worried this is going to be a set 6 box stopper, which means it will come out the day before London BCS, so I really don't want to deal with that. We will see, but this card is pretty fucking crazy. Oh, let's have a look at this. This is just a LDO Links reprint. Let's have a look at the GeGeGe cards, because these are pretty exciting. So, this is the mana, which we use for the cost of Nana Sheet. When it enters the field, you may drop a hand card. If you do, choose up 2 yokai characters from your deck, put one of them into your hand, drop the rest, shuffle your deck. Okay, so, staple 4 of searches literally everything that is a yokai, which is fucking ridiculous. And if a character with yokai is active on your field, this card cannot be destroyed or returned to hand by opponent's card effects. Fine, whatever. But, like, fucking hell. That's insane. But, like, then it gets better. So look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put up to 1 from them into your hand, put the rest to your gauge. So, fine, we're kind of used to this kind of. But then you have a mana, you just gain 2 life on top of that. That's a pretty nice bonus. So this is like a nice sort of, it's fine, like a 3-off. I mean, because this mana card's fucking ridiculous. You're always going to want this, right? Now let's have a look at some of these. So we've got another Western Yokai size 3, Emperor Backbeard. And this is going to be a whole deck. This is like going to be the foundation of one of the decks from GeGeGe and Kitaro. Call cost, pay to gauge, put 2 cards on top of your deck and get soul. Reduce size of all your Western Yokai other than Backbeard by 1. So you can go into the Wolf with this on the board, because it will have its size reduced by 2 to 0. Counteract. During either player's attack phase, stand one of your opponent's characters that is not in battle and attack one other character in your opponent's field or your opponent once per turn. Double attack and soul guard. So this is basically a new death deck, just to give you a Kitaro. Well, it fits. And you size on Western Yokai, cannot be destroyed or returned to hand. And when it's dropped, gauge and draw. I don't know why you'd ever really call this. Again, it's just going to be one of those, like, we haven't really seen many drop effects yet. Not that many, but I reckon this will be a pretty important card. Now this looks fucking crazy. So core cost, put 1 character from your field into the drop zone and pay 2 gauge. When this card is destroyed by an attack, and this card is in your drop zone, you may pay 2 life. If you do, put one of the attacking cards into the drop zone and call this card from your drop zone without paying its core cost. So, I mean, obviously you can fucking loop this guy, as long as you have the life. Which is fucking terrifying. Really, like, you have to bounce it. Like, obviously, okay, you have to remove it, not by attack. But there are going to be some decks that just literally can't do that, especially because they're of the protection set spell, so if they can't deal with that set spell. It's a pretty fucking crazy good card, in my opinion. We've got the Ratman. At the start of each player's attack phase, this card's in your drop zone, there's a yokai on your field, and if you're engaged, call it. And when this card enters the field, choose a card on your opponent's field. For the turn, this card shows a card -5, and if it enters card effects, gets -1 crit. At the moment, I see no reason to run this card. Kitaro's Home set. All yokai on your field get +5, and their abilities cannot be nullified by opponent's card effects. It's a nice effect there. And when yokai character enters your field by card effects, put top card deck to the gauge and draw a card per turn. This obviously affects on both players' turns. This will be a staple set spell that you want to have out. Another set spell. Not set spell. You may only cast this card during either player's attack phase if you have a Backbeard on your field. Cast cost, put an Agnes and 1 Ring of Arcana on your field and drop zone and pay 2 gauge. So now this is a reason why you'd want to have that Agnes drop and gauge and draw a card on the board. Choose 1 character that is not in battle on your opponent's field, stand it, and attack your opponent with that character. You can only cast this once per turn. So we need to do a Ring of Arcana to like judge whether or not that's a garbage spell. It's overcosted. So here we have Spirit Hair Chankle. 1 gauge equip cost, cannot be destroyed by opponent's card effects. Damage taken by the attacks reduced by 1, that's a nice ability. And counteract, choose a yokai character on your field and you may pay 1 gauge. If you do, for this turn, the next time that card would be destroyed, it remains on the field. That's fine. It's got 5k defense, which is nice. The damage reduction is the main thing there, I think. Okay, Ring of Arcana. 1 gauge. This card on the field cannot be destroyed by opponent's card effects. It acts. If there are 2 or more Western yokai characters on your field, you may rest this card and drop a hand card. If you do, gauge, gain 1 life, and draw. That seems really overcosted by modern standards. We'll need to see. Obviously, if you drop the Agnes, then it's great. But if you don't drop the Agnes, especially when this clearly wants you to have the Agnes on the field for back bit. Okay, whatever. We'll see. Right. And we got this final card of the day for this week. You can only call Agnes' sister Adel once per turn. When this card enters the field, if there's a back bit on your field, gauge 2, draw 2. Now that's a good card. And when counteract during attack on your opponent's turn, pay 1 gauge. If you do, nullify the attack, deal 1 damage to your opponent. That's a nice little bonus ability to have. Yeah, I mean, obviously, staple, gauge 2, draw 2. Obviously, amazing. Now we've got 2 more GeGeGe cards, so we've got Message Perez now. So to return the favors, GeGeGe and Keep Double. Size 1, 7, 2, 7. 2 gauge, top 2 deck soul, counteract. Everyone lend me your strength. During each player's attack phase, call up to 2 yokai, other than to return the favors of GeGeGe and Keep Double. Notice that he has the yokai attributes. From a drop by paying the call cost. You may only activate everyone lend me your strength once per turn, move double deck soul cards. So he's just going to be fucking shitting out yokai during both players' turns. Obviously a fucking amazing card, and gains the benefits of being a yokai for various forms of protection. And then Cat Yokai Neko Musume, so there's another yokai. Cat Informant. When this enters the field, put the top card of your deck into the gauge and gain 1 life. Now this is a question. If you have a GeGeGe no Kitaro on your field, draw 2 once per turn. Now I am not sure if that is specifically GeGeGe no Kitaro for this, like this character, or the world, because the set is called GeGeGe no Kitaro. So we'll have to see on that. If it's the world, this card's obviously fucking walked. Completely generic gauge to draw 2 for every deck is insane. But even if it isn't, this calls out yokai, so during both players' turns you will be getting this off, which is pretty fucking wild. And when it attacks and you have another yokai in the field during this turn, this card gets counter double attack on the turn. So yeah, that is all the GeGeGe stuff. GeGeGe is looking really powerful. I'm pretty excited to see how it tests since we have the whole set. Obviously we don't have everything. We're missing what 8 double rares, 2 triple rares, 10 rares, and 20 uncommons. So a vast majority of the set is missing. But I am pretty excited to see what happens with it. Release is the 19th of October, so we'll burn out the set list till about the 2nd week of October anyway, about 15th or so, 16th. But yeah, finally. We have the Garga Secret Pack, and goddamn. So, Gargantua / Wyvern. Dragon. Call cost 2 gauge, top deck soul, G boost, heart. At the start of your attack phase, draw 1. During this turn, all cards in your field get plus 5k. In addition, if there's a Dragon Daily Tribe on your field during this turn, after the battle where that card attacks, gain 1 life, deal 1 damage to your opponent. So, that's pretty crazy. There's going to be a lot of burn. Now, this in and of itself isn't that good. It's pretty good, but it's not that good. But the support cards, if you have a card with G-Boost Heart on the field, all day the Dragon Tribe on the field can be rested or returned to hand by opponent's card effects. That's pretty fucking wild. And when you gain life, and if you have a card with G-Boost on your field during this turn, this card gets crit plus 2 and double attack. That doesn't really matter. The protection from the resting or bouncing is really important. Counteract during a turn, select 1 dragon on the field, and we put this card from the field into its soul. If you do, sound the selected card, and if it's in the soul of the G-Boost, it gets penetrate and double attack. Sure, why not? This is pretty crazy. 1 gauge, counter speed, if you got a G-Boost Heart. Either nullify all abilities of monster in opponent's field and destroy it, or gain 5 life. So, I mean, this is levels of counter destruction that are approaching fucking crazy territory. Yeah, this is insane. And finally, the item, and this is kind of when you see the deck idea that I'm going for here. Equip cost, pay 1 gauge and pay 1 life. If there's dragon on your field, this card and all daily dragon card monsters on your field cannot be destroyed and their roots can be nullified by your opponent's card effects. Counteract during each player's attack phase if you have a G-Boost heart on your field. Call up to 1 size 1 and below, deal dragon card monster from your drop zone by paying 4 cost once per turn. Okay, they have perfect protection. I really don't like that at all. I think perfect protection should not exist. Or if it does exist, it can't be in a deck like this. It should be in like a wall deck or like a deck with not that much, damage. So they're not just going to be fucking killed and there's nothing you can do about it. But yeah, that's everything, I believe, unless there have been any updates as I've been recording this video, which we'll now find out. They have not. So yeah, that's the week in review. A bunch of really exciting updates. Hopefully, in a couple of weeks when we get that whole set 6 list, I will know certainly what my London BCS is going to look like. So yeah, alright. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you for week in review number 4 next week. Bye.